or was my rent pretty much. And, and I'm talking to people out there that know what I'm talking about. You to the point where you gotta, get on public assistance just to make up for the income that's not coming in. Most people like myself thought job, income, things like that. And I said, well, if I'm going to work all these hours and I'm going to put all this time in, I'm not going to let a bill take all my money. But I wasn't thinking if I paid it, I wouldn't have this problem. And that's what a lot of people have a problem with. They don't pay their bills because they don't have the money to pay for their bills. Because most high achievers live above their means. So, for instance, you got a certain amount of income that come in your house every single week, every single month. Or how you grind every single day. But somewhere along the line, priorities is screwed up with wants instead of needs. I didn't understand that the need first. Well, I understood a little bit as far as rent was concerned. I wasn't finna be homeless for nobody. I'm going to pay my rent. But when it came down to utilities, you could always work out a budget and you could play a little here and a little there. But once I started doing that, make a long story short, once I started understanding to pay it off and to get rid of it instead of letting it go away by itself, once I applied the principle to get it done and actually pay it month to month, send them what I could, I didn't have to worry about the phone calls all hours of the day and night, worrying me about a bill that I ain't got the money to pay. And that's where some people are. And my question to you is, studio audience, is how many of you know someone or you yourself are involved in a struggle like that? You got just enough to pay everything and you saying no to something else. Or I'll just break it down like this. You either a tightwad, you're either a status, you're either broke, or you're either financially free. I'll say it again. Write this down. Tightwad, status, broke, financially free. See, at the end of the day, it's all about ownership. The society is pleading for ownership. People want to own homes again. People want to own stock and people want to own land and stuff like that. But they have not the resources or the right information to get the job done. Because somewhere along the line between who we associate with and who we listen to has motivated us to be in this situation. And the only person that we can blame for this problem is ourselves. So, back to my story. Just keep those words I just mentioned written down on a piece of paper because I want to go over those tonight so I can explain this and that it makes sense. So, I let the bill carry on and carry on. I finally said back in 2014 when I lost the home and it was to the point where you had to tear it down and looking at the ground. But, I was thinking I was in grind mode. I went and found another place. You know what I'm saying? But it was hard. Didn't have a lot of money to pay movers and had a lot of furniture, things like that. Got kids, this and that. Got a schedule, they schedule. Make a long story short with all that moving around. That bill followed me wherever I went. I could go out of town and then my phone would still be ringing about that bill. And I got tired of $17,856.19 over my head every single day, every single year. Was to the point where I couldn't buy my kids Christmas presents. I couldn't really fully celebrate their birthday because I had to go to work so I could have money to get them something for their birthday after their birthday. To me, that sucks. Don't say suck. But anyway. You know, don't say suck like I did. It just came out that way. Okay. Just to take the pressure off. You know how that go. So I finally decided that I would get myself some help after all the advice I got, after everybody was trying to tell me what to do with my money, and blah, 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 from broke people to rich people, because I know both. Because you got to come from somewhere to get somewhere else. Only if you're willing to change your mind frame about how you have, about your relationship with your money. Because hopefully, I can say this without nobody getting offended. If you have a bad relationship with your money, that's why your money is not working for you, but yet against you. And I did talk a little bit about that in the money thing. Matrix, check those out. That was in season 3 of the last episodes of that particular set. This really ain't nothing but just a little bit more sauce to the spaghetti as I explain this wonderful testimony. So without further ado, I finally decided to start making payments on this utility bill. $17,000 is a lot of money. And as I thought about it, I'm like, man, what if I didn't have this issue? What if I had $17,000 and I didn't owe it at all? What would I do with it? And I got a lot of goals. I got a lot of dreams. I got a lot of ambitions. It's stuff that I want to do in life because I want my life to mean something, if that makes sense. So if you're out there listening, and like I've always said in the other shows, you know, if you got a big dream and you got an idea, eliminating some debt is going to be worth it, because you can take that debt money and really invest into yourself and in your dream. And that way your money will start working for you instead of against you. And that's the main point here. So it's not an offer. It's just really the truth. I'm laying it all out on the table, you know. And when you get here, whenever you hear this, you are open-minded to something new, but also you're open-minded to change. And change takes work. And that's why I call this big dream, big work, hard work. Because anything that you have to change takes work. And it also takes time. But what are you using that time for? So remember to type while status broke and financially free. I'm going to get to that. Make a long story short, I finally wrote, I think it was like 2 months ago, because I haven't received a bill from them since September to make that payment on that $17,895.19. So I got curious because I thought something was wrong. They lost my information. So I called up there and they said, well, you pretty much don't owe the debt of $17,895.19 anymore, because you caught up with all your payments. Oh my God! Do you know how it feels? Do you know? How would you feel? I'm not going to ask you, do you know? How would you feel if you eliminated a debt and you paid off, wrote your last check, put your final payment down off your debit or credit card, and it's paid off? $17,895.17. What? So, let's get, on that note, let's get some EDU in our lives. I paid this off before I got involved in the Green Box Revolution program. And it felt good to know that what I'm looking at, what I'm studying, what I'm researching, and what I'm learning is actually matching up to the decisions that I made, that I did the right thing. I didn't take $17,895 and something cent and waste it on stupid stuff. I really paid that bill off. And it feels so good to know that I don't have $17,000 debt hanging over my head no more, because I took the responsibility for my own self and didn't sit around and make excuses of why I couldn't do this or that. Now, some of the things I had to sacrifice, even some things that I had to do as much as what I wanted to do. But how long was I going to keep, procrastinating with that debt? Because with that kind of debt, you can't buy a house and you can't own anything. That's a lot of money. You know what I could have done with that money? I got kids, I got a family to take care of. They could have had extra things. Needs could have been met a little bit quicker, but I had this bill over my head. It was like no matter what I tried to do, how much money I was sending, I went from sending $600 a month plus what I owe for the current month to only $160, maybe $125 a month each month. And my house is warm, I ain't cold, we ain't got to wear sweaters and none of that. You know what I'm saying? For real. We comfortable. And I had to downsize. Usually I pretty much get a 3 to a 6 bedroom, but I had to downsize because my income downsized. And I know a lot of people are doing that now because things are changing. Things are getting a little harder financially, especially when you don't make those payments. And they're steady climbing in interest, and you steady trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, and you still can't keep up. I did that for 6 years, ignoring it. And you know what it started with? It was an extra $50 fee for being late. And all I had to do was pay that $50. And I wouldn't have owed no $17,000 on a utility bill. That is ridiculous. When you figure out that it's ridiculous. But you don't know what you don't know. So don't beat yourself up. You had the bill, pay it off, let somebody know you need help. And they will help you. But know that they're genuine. Don't get anybody to help you. Really work with somebody that know what they're doing. And if you don't, I can reference you to a couple people. Because I'm in it to win it. And I had to share it because it's so many people going from paycheck to paycheck. Every little scrap of change they get, they got to pay a bill with it. And you should have other monies for fun things and business things. There's nothing wrong with fun money. It's just, are you saving and investing enough to have that kind of lifestyle? So we're going to get into that. Remember I told you to write down tight, wide, status, broke, financially free? Okay, here it is. Tight, wide. This is the person who has ownership of all he has. In other words, he is probably out of debt, but he has to scrimp for everything and pinch pennies all the time. He's smart enough to resist buying things with money he doesn't have, but he's very limited in his choices and doesn't have much to show for all his self-discipline. Status. This person is opposite of the tight wad. He has tons of choices and buying power because he freely uses credit and debt, but because of that, he has no real ownership of the things he possesses. In fact, he is a financial liability to himself and an asset to someone else because of his debt. He doesn't own things. His things own him. Broke. This person has neither choices nor ownership, probably because the long-term effects of interest payments on debt have eroded his once strong buying power.